Welcome to my channel. Let me ask you one honest question. You watch English movies. You enjoy them. You laugh at the jokes, feel the emotions, maybe even cry at the sad parts. You think, wow, English is beautiful. But when the movie ends, your English is still the same. You don't feel any more confident to speak. You don't remember the sentences you liked. You feel stuck. Why does this happen? You have the exposure, you have the enjoyment, but still no improvement. You see, watching English movies is not just about understanding the story. It's about learning real English, the way people actually speak, not the way grammar books teach you. Real English is alive, emotional, full of expressions, pauses, small words, and feelings that you don't get from reading textbooks or memorizing grammar rules. Now, imagine if every movie you watched could actually teach you English. Imagine if the dialogues, the accents, the emotions, and the everyday sentences became yours. You could finally understand English naturally, feel confident to speak, and use sentences just like a native speaker, not just repeat memorized words. That's exactly what I will show you today, step by step, in a way that actually works. Not tricks, not shortcuts, but simple, practical methods you can follow while enjoying your favorite movies. You'll see how to notice the right sentences, how to remember them, and how to practice them without feeling awkward or overwhelmed. So, if you have ever felt frustrated after watching English movies without learning anything, or if you feel shy, confused, or stuck with speaking, stay with me till the end. By the time this video finishes, you will know how to turn your movies into your most powerful English teacher. And the best part? You'll actually enjoy learning while doing it. Chapter 1. Why movies are one of the best English teachers. Let's be honest for a moment. Think about your English journey so far. You studied in school for years. You memorized grammar rules, learned hundreds or even thousands of words, and practiced writing essays. You read books, did exercises, and maybe even watched English shows. Yet, when it comes to speaking, something feels missing. Your mind goes blank. Your mouth freezes. You forget the words you memorized. You feel frustrated, ashamed, and sometimes even think, I'm just not good at English. But here's the truth. It's not because you're not smart. It's not because your brain can't learn. It's because the way you were taught is not how humans naturally learn a language. Most schools focus on memorizing words and grammar rules. They force you to translate sentences in your head. They tell you what is correct or wrong. And while you might pass exams, you're not learning to use English in real life. This is where movies come in, and this is why they are one of the best English teachers you can have. English is not just a collection of words or rules. It is sound. It is feeling. It is emotion. It has rhythm, tone, pauses, and expression. It is alive. And movies contain all of this naturally. Every scene, every conversation, every pause, every laugh or sigh teaches you English the way people actually use it. Think about how babies learn their first language. They don't start with grammar books. They don't memorize long lists of vocabulary. They listen. They hear how words sound. They notice tone, emotion, rhythm, and timing. Slowly, they start repeating sounds, forming words, and eventually sentences. Babies learn by listening and imitating. Movies work in the same way. They let you hear English as it is really spoken. And here's something important. Movies show real English, not the perfect English in textbooks. People speak in short sentences. They pause, they repeat, they use filler words like well, or you know. They express feelings: happiness, frustration, excitement, sadness, surprise. Every emotion you see on the screen is connected to words and sentences. This is exactly what makes learning natural and memorable. Have you ever noticed that after watching a good movie, you remember some dialogues or lines easily, even after years? Maybe a funny joke, a motivational speech, or a romantic line stays in your mind forever. But try to remember a sentence from a textbook you memorized last week, and it's gone. Because your brain connects emotions, context, and story with the language when you watch a movie. That connection makes the words stick. Textbooks rarely do this. They are boring, abstract, and disconnected from real life. Movies, on the other hand, bring English to life. Now, here's the emotional truth I want you to realize. You were never bad at English. You were just taught in the wrong way. You weren't given the tools to learn the language naturally. You weren't given English in the way your brain loves to absorb it, through listening, feeling, and experiencing. That is why speaking seems hard. That is why memorized words disappear in conversation. And that is why movies can change everything, if used correctly. But here is a warning: not all movie watching is learning. Most people watch movies for entertainment, just to pass time, laugh, or relax. And that's fine. Movies are fun. But if you watch them without paying attention to how people speak, the phrases they use, or the emotions behind the words, you will enjoy the movie and learn almost nothing. To truly learn English from movies, you must watch actively, notice the dialogues, repeat them, feel the sentences, and practice using them in real life. This is where most learners stop. They see movies as only entertainment. But if you take movies seriously, if you follow a simple, step-by-step method, they become your most powerful English teacher, better than books, better than classes, better than endless exercises. Movies can teach you real English naturally, emotionally, and memorably. So, the first step is to understand this. Movies are not magic, but they are extremely powerful tools. They have the sound, emotion, rhythm, expression, and context that your brain needs. They give you the chance to hear English the way people really speak. They give you the chance to feel English, remember it, and eventually speak it with confidence. But remember this curiosity: movies are only as powerful as the way you use them. If you watch passively, they are just stories, just entertainment. But if you learn to notice, repeat, and feel the English in every scene, you will see your speaking, listening, and confidence improve like never before. In the next chapter, I will show you exactly how to use movies step by step, so you can start learning English naturally and confidently. And trust me, once you start, you will never look at movies the same way again. They are not just stories, they are your personal English classroom, waiting for you to enter. Chapter 2: How to choose the right movies for learning English. Let's start with an important warning. Many learners make the same mistake. They pick a movie because it looks popular, exciting, or cool. Maybe it has action, famous actors, or complicated storylines. They start watching, hoping to learn English quickly. But soon they get frustrated. The dialogue is too fast. The accents are hard to understand. There's background noise, music, and overlapping voices. By the end, they feel lost. They feel stupid. They feel like they will never speak English. This is one of the biggest traps for English learners. Choosing the wrong movie can kill your confidence before you even start learning. Not every movie is good for learning English. Yes, every movie is fun to watch, but not every movie helps you understand and remember English naturally. If your goal is to improve your speaking and listening, you need to be careful about the movies you pick. The right movie can build your confidence, make learning fun, and teach you language that you can actually use. The wrong movie will only make you feel overwhelmed and discouraged. So, how do you choose the right movie? The key is simple. Look for movies with simple language, clear pronunciation, and real-life situations. As a beginner, your brain needs to focus on understanding the words, the sentences, and the emotions behind them, not on translating or guessing complicated grammar. Movies with everyday conversations, small sentences, and familiar topics are perfect. One great starting point is animation movies. Think about the movies you loved as a child. They are full of clear speech, simple words, and emotional expression. Animations are slow-paced, easy to follow, and the characters speak in a way that beginners can understand. The sentences are short, the vocabulary is easy, and the story is connected to emotions, exactly what your brain needs to learn English naturally. Another excellent choice is family movies or slow-paced dramas. These movies often show real-life situations, conversations at home, in a cafe, at school, or during small daily events. You hear people talking the way real people talk, short sentences, questions, responses, and small expressions like really, oh no, or that's great. These are the words and phrases you will use in real life. Watching movies like this helps you connect English with real emotions and situations. Now, a quick note about accents, speed, and background noise. English comes in many accents: British, American, Australian, and more. For beginners, it is better to choose movies where the accent is clear and easy to understand. Don't worry about perfect pronunciation yet. Focus on clarity first. Also, speed matters. If the dialogue is too fast, your brain will struggle to follow. And background noise, music, crowded scenes, or fast action can distract you and make it harder to hear words. Beginners should look for movies with slow or moderate speed and clear dialogues. Here's an important moment to think about. The wrong movie can harm your confidence. Imagine watching a complicated action movie, not understanding half the dialogue, and feeling like you failed. That feeling of "I'm not good at English" will grow. But the right movie does the opposite. It allows you to understand a sentence, repeat it, feel it, and remember it. Your brain gets small victories again and again. That feeling of progress, understanding words and emotions, boosts confidence. And confidence is exactly what you need to speak English naturally. Now, I want to give you practical guidance, but not a list of titles. Choosing a movie is about strategy, not luck. Ask yourself these questions before you start. Are the sentences short and easy to follow? Are the situations familiar to me, like home, school, work, or friendship? Is the speech clear, without too much background noise or overlapping dialogue? Can I understand most of the words if I listen carefully? Will this movie make me feel curious and motivated rather than frustrated? Answering these questions will guide you to the movies that are right for your learning stage. Remember, you don't need to watch only beginner-level movies forever. You will gradually increase difficulty, but at the start, it's all about building listening skills, confidence, and connection with the language. Finally, here's the curiosity I want to leave you with. Choosing the right movie is just the first step. Once you have the perfect movie, the next question is how to watch it so that it actually helps you learn English. Should you watch it once or multiple times? Should you pause and repeat sentences? Should you focus on subtitles or not? In the next chapter, we will answer all of these questions. You will learn the step-by-step method to turn a simple, beginner-friendly movie into a powerful English lesson. After that, movies will stop being just entertainment. They will become your most enjoyable and effective English teacher. Chapter 3. The right way to watch movies for learning English. Let's be honest with ourselves. Most learners watch movies in the same way they always have, like normal viewers. They sit on the couch, press play, and enjoy the story. They expect that by simply watching, their English will improve automatically. But here's the truth, it doesn't. Movies alone, without strategy, are just entertainment. You might hear English, but your brain doesn't always absorb it the way it needs to. You don't repeat sentences, you don't notice patterns, and you don't connect words with feelings. And that is why watching randomly rarely helps you speak better. The right way to watch a movie for learning English is simple, but it requires a little patience and focus. Think of it as a step-by-step journey. Step 1. Watch with subtitles first. Start by watching the movie with English subtitles. This allows your brain to connect the sound with the words you see. You'll notice pronunciation, rhythm, and expression, and your eyes and ears work together. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Focus on the sentences and phrases that repeat or feel important. Your goal is to feel the language, not memorize it. Step 2. Watch without subtitles. Once you are familiar with the story and the dialogues, watch the same movie again, but this time without subtitles. Your brain will now rely on listening and comprehension. Don't panic if you don't understand everything. It's normal. Beginners often think they must understand every word, but this is a trap. The goal is not perfect understanding. It's training your ear to hear English naturally, just like a baby listens before speaking. Step 3. Repeat small parts. After watching a section of the movie, replay small parts, maybe a sentence or a short dialogue. Listen carefully. Notice how characters stress certain words, pause, or use emotions. Repeat the sentences softly yourself, copying the rhythm and tone. Don't translate into your native language. Instead, feel the sentence. Let your mouth and brain learn English in its natural flow. This step is powerful. It creates muscle memory in your speaking muscles and builds listening skills at the same time. Here's a warning for beginners. Stopping and pausing too often is harmful. Many learners try to pause every few seconds to write or translate. This breaks the natural flow and makes the movie feel like homework. Your brain loses the emotional connection, and learning becomes mechanical. Instead, let the sentences sink in naturally first. Repeat only small sections after you finish a scene. And here is the most important reassurance. Not understanding everything is normal. You are not failing. In fact, it is necessary. Your brain is learning patterns, rhythm, and emotion. Words will stick over time. You might catch a sentence fully on the third or fourth viewing, and it will suddenly feel familiar and easy. That is the magic of repetition. Every time you watch the same movie, you understand something new. Lines you missed before will now make sense. Your listening improves, your brain adapts, and slowly your confidence grows. Now let's add a little extra magic. Speak with the characters. Choose a line, pause, and say it along with the actor. Match their tone, speed, and emotion. Feel the sentence. Pretend you are part of the scene. This is not acting. It's practicing real English naturally. You are training your brain and mouth to speak without thinking too much about grammar or translation. This soft repetition is how your brain learns English the way it learned your first language, by listening, imitating, and feeling. Here's a realization many learners miss. Movies are not for learning every word or grammar rule. They are not textbooks. You will never understand 100% of a movie, and that is okay. Movies are for learning English naturally, emotionally, and gradually. They teach you how people really speak, how sentences feel, and how rhythm and tone work together. They give your brain a model to copy, and your ear a way to listen that no textbook can provide. Think about it this way. Every movie is like a teacher who never gets tired. You can watch it again and again. Each time, you notice something new. A sentence you didn't catch before, a word you finally understand, an emotion you finally feel. Repetition works like magic because your brain absorbs English in small, meaningful pieces. And when you combine listening, repeating, and feeling the language, your confidence grows. Suddenly, speaking English doesn't feel so hard. So remember the 3 key steps. Watch with subtitles, watch without subtitles, repeat small parts, and speak softly. Focus on listening, feeling, and connecting with sentences, not memorizing grammar. Be patient and trust the process. Movies will transform from simple entertainment into your most powerful English teacher. By the end of this chapter, one truth becomes clear. Learning English through movies is not about finishing the movie perfectly. It's about learning naturally, enjoying the process, and letting your brain absorb English step by step. With this approach, every movie becomes a step closer to speaking English confidently and naturally. Chapter 4: How Movies Change Your Thinking, Confidence, and Speaking. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a learner named Sarah. Sarah had been studying English for years. She knew grammar, she memorized hundreds of words, and she even read books. But whenever someone asked her a simple question in English, her mind went blank. Her heart raced. Her mouth refused to speak. Then one day she decided to try something different. She didn't study a new book or memorize a new list of words. She started watching English movies every day just for fun at first. At the beginning, Sarah didn't understand everything. She watched with subtitles, slowly following the story. She laughed at jokes she could barely translate, and sometimes she just enjoyed the music and emotions. At first, she thought she wasn't learning anything. But over time, something magical happened. She began noticing small patterns. She recognized phrases she had heard before. She repeated them softly to herself. She even started thinking, "Oh, that's how people say this in English." This is one of the most powerful things about movies. They teach you to think in English naturally without forcing it. You don't translate every word in your head. You don't pause to recall grammar rules. Instead, your brain starts to connect meaning, sound, and emotion. You start to recognize words and sentences as you hear them, and slowly, English begins to flow into your thoughts. Pronunciation improves naturally, too. Sarah didn't open a phonetics book or practice tongue twisters. She just listened to characters speaking again and again. She imitated their rhythm, their pauses, their intonation. She noticed how excitement makes the voice rise, how sadness makes it soft. Without even realizing it, her mouth began forming English sounds correctly. Her accent became smoother because her ear had trained her brain, and her brain had trained her mouth. Confidence grew in a similar way. At first, Sarah was hesitant. She worried about making mistakes. But then she started noticing patterns repeating across movies: greetings, small questions, simple responses. She realized she already understood a lot before she even tried to speak. Every time she heard a phrase she recognized, her brain whispered, "You know this, you've heard it before." This repetition gave her courage. Confidence isn't built in one day. It is built slowly, through hearing, repeating, and understanding the same patterns over time. Movies also create beautiful emotional learning moments. Sarah laughed at jokes without needing subtitles. She felt sadness, joy, and excitement naturally. She understood sarcasm, surprise, and relief. Her brain connected these feelings with words and sentences. This emotional connection is why movie English sticks. Words learned in context with feeling are remembered much more than words memorized from a textbook. Sarah began reacting naturally, smiling or frowning in response to dialogue, even speaking small sentences quietly to herself as she mimicked the characters. Over weeks and months, something remarkable happened. English started to enter her daily life. She found herself thinking in English when making simple plans or describing things. She reacted in English, first silently, then softly speaking out loud. She could answer simple questions without hesitation. Movie English had slowly become her own English. The words, expressions, and rhythms she had absorbed were now part of her natural speech. Here's the powerful spike. Most learners don't notice their improvement day by day. Sarah didn't wake up suddenly fluent. But one day, she realized she had understood a joke in a movie without reading subtitles. She had spoken a small sentence confidently in real life. She had thought in English naturally while preparing tea. These small victories added up, and she finally understood what learning English really means. You are already improving, even if you don't see it immediately. And here's the truth I want you to feel emotionally. English is not about talent. It is not about memorizing every word or having a good accent. English is about exposure plus patience. The more you listen, feel, and repeat naturally, the more your brain absorbs. Movies provide exposure in the most enjoyable and meaningful way. They give you context, emotion, rhythm, and real-life sentences. They allow your confidence, thinking, and speaking to grow without pressure. By the end of this journey, learners like Sarah understand one simple but life-changing fact. Learning English is not about being perfect. It is about enjoying the process, noticing patterns, repeating naturally, and trusting that your brain is learning every day. Every movie you watch carefully, every phrase you repeat softly, every emotion you feel while listening is another step forward. So, if you watch movies with patience, attention, and a little practice, your English will improve. Slowly, naturally, and confidently. You will laugh, feel, think, and speak in English, without fear, without memorizing, without pressure. Movies are not just entertainment. They are your most powerful, patient, and enjoyable teacher. And the best part? The more you watch, the more English becomes part of you. English is not talent. It is exposure, patience, and trust in yourself. And with movies, you have all three. If this video opened your eyes and made you realize that English can be learned naturally, if it made you feel that speaking English is not about talent, but about practice, patience, and small daily steps, then subscribe to this channel, because here we learn English in a simple, real, and human way, without pressure, without fear, and without boring rules. Like this video if you believe that movies, stories, and real-life conversations can truly change your English. Share your progress by commenting below. Tell me one English movie you will start watching from today, and one small phrase you want to practice. Remember, you don't need perfect English. You don't need long speeches or complicated grammar. You just need the courage to listen again tomorrow, repeat one sentence, and slowly let English become part of your thinking and speaking. Every small step counts, and movies can make learning enjoyable, memorable, and confident.